Hi there everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be creating a document layout within Business Central from scratch. Okay, so we've done a similar video to this before where we modified an existing document layout. So we took a sales invoice and we added a BC logo to that sales invoice and we imported it back in and we generated that report and just showed you what that looked like. So today, a little bit different, we're going to create that document layout from scratch and we're just going to run through some of the different things involved here. So before we get into it here guys, just a quick shout out to some people just for some thanks. Firstly, Daz, I won't say your full name, but you know who you are. Thanks for your help on this. I was a little bit rusty on this subject, but thank you very much for your tips and tricks. Always grateful. And secondly, but not by least by any imagination, just want to shout out Matt. Again, won't say your surname there, but Matt, if you're watching, you're the guy who gave me the opportunity to do these word layouts a long time ago. 10 years ago, in fact, in NAV 2015. So since then, I've been playing with these. Thank you for your guidance and showing me how to do them in the first place. Okay, so let's get into it here, guys. I'm going to search for a page called Report Layouts. And over here, I'm going to filter down to report 1306. Okay, so I guess this is my favorite layout. We picked the sales invoice last time too, but I guess it's a popular one, right? So what I'm going to do now on this page is just press new to create a new report layout line item. Okay, so let's go new. And you can see the report ID is defaulted to 1306. Report name is set again by default as well. So it's sales invoice. And we're just going to give our layout a name and a description. Okay. Important thing for what we're doing today, I guess we've done this in Excel before for other videos, creating Excel report layouts yourself. But today, guys, we're going to select Word as the format option, okay? And we are going to make it available in all companies. And what we're going to do as well is create a blank layout for the report object. Okay, so we didn't do this last time. And that's because we were modifying an existing layout, but I'm going to go in and create a blank layout from the report object. Now, let me go ahead and say OK. And here is our GERD invoice layout. So our new invoice layout exists in the report layouts page now. And you can run this report, so I can come up here and it knows that it's the sales invoice report because of the object that we selected. And I can go in here and let me just select an invoice that has some data in it. And if I go preview, obviously the report layout is blank because we've not added anything to that layout just yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So let me close this down. I'm going to close the report request page down, and just whilst I'm highlighting my line here, so my new line that we've created, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say export layout. Okay. So what that will do is it will give me my GERD invoice layout in my download section, and I'm just going to go ahead and open that file. Now, what is this Word document here, guys? So I'll just say enable editing. So this Word document is basically our invoice layout. Okay, so the idea here is, I mean, it's pretty cool. I say it's been around a long time. I said at the top of the video there, since I think it was 2015. Which was the first version that introduced these Word layout reports in their simplest form. I think they've come some way since then. As I said, I was a bit rusty on this. Took a bit of practice to get back to speed with it, but it's come a long way. But basically, this Word document will eventually be our invoice layout. Okay, so excuse me, within my Word document, I'm going to go to my developer tab here. I'm going to go XML mapping pane, and on my XML mapping pane that comes up, I'm going to choose the line item which links to my sales invoice object, okay, 1306. And then what I have here is basically a bunch of fields. I can expand and collapse. I mean, I'm not going to go through each one of these guys, but they should look familiar. I mean, these are all fields from my sales invoice header, okay? And there could be fields from other areas as well, I beg your pardon. And if I scroll down, I've got the lines as well. So if I expand this, I've got the fields that I'd expect to see on my sales invoice lines, okay? And what does all of this mean? Well, basically I can take the fields from the right-hand side in the XML mapping pane here, and I can pop them into my Word documents to start building out my report, okay? So you don't have to do it this way, but just the way I like doing it, the way I was taught to do it, is to create a table that looks like this. It makes life a lot easier. Trust me when you're trying to do the report layout. And what we then do is just select the relevant area on the page that we want that information to go, okay? So for example, I can go in and say company address 1 in this top right box, okay? So let me right click, insert control, rich text, okay? So you see we get company address 1 in that first box. Then I can go to the next box down, company address 2, rich text. Company address 3, rich text, okay? So we're basically adding fields from the right hand side in this XML mapping pane to our report layout, okay? And bear in mind, guys, we are in Word here, you know, so I can write a line, I can make it bold, I can change the text, I can basically do anything that I would otherwise do within my Word document, okay? And that includes copy and pasting things like logos, doing any of the bits that you might want to do as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me go ahead and save that, and I'm just going to close this down and import that back into Business Central just to show you what it looks like so far. So just to recap there, we've added company address 1, company address 2 and 3. We've added nothing else to our invoice layout as it stands. Okay, so let me close it down and import that back in. Okay, so now we've gone in and replaced that layout. What I can do again is just highlight this line for our layout that we're working with, GERD invoice layout, and let's go run. And I'm going to again select an invoice with some data in it, and I'll say preview. Okay, so now you can see the invoice layout is not blank like it was the first time we ran the invoice layout. Now I'm starting to get my company information input into the invoice layout. Okay, so one other thing that I want to show you is, let me just go back and import another updated version of the invoice layout. I'm just going to add the lines section because it needs to work in a bit of a different way. So let me just bring up my invoice layout template again, and we'll just update that. So now we're back in the invoice layout template. You can see it looks the way it was when we just edited it. So I've got company address 123. I'm going to go into my developer tab and add in the XML pane. Again, go to my sales invoice line item. And what I'm going to do is just add the line section. Okay, so all of these fields here, I mean, I won't add them all, guys. I'll leave you to have a play with that. Feel free to add them in, remove them, put them in the format that you guys want to. But what I'm going to show you now is just the line section. Okay, so in order to put in the line section of your invoice, what I'm going to do is just select this bottom line, and I'm going to right click the line area, say insert content control and repeating. So some of these names have changed over the years, guys. You may have worked with this before, and it sort of may look a little bit different to sort of what it did previously. But then, guys, once we've got this repeater or repeating line in, we can then just go ahead and add some detail. Okay, so for example, I'm going to go line, and I'm just going to give it some captions here as well. And we can go in here and say description and description. And you get the idea here, guys. I'm not going to add any more, but these are all the fields which you'd have on your sales invoice line area. And it's important that you put that repeater in there like I did at the beginning, which will basically repeat for all of the lines that you have on your invoice. Okay, so once again, we're done with this. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to go ahead and import that back into Business Central, and we'll just see how that looks. So let's go 3 dots, replace layout, yes, and I'll choose the file that we just updated. Okay, so now that file is in Business Central, let me go ahead again and say run report, and I'll just pick an invoice with some data in it, and let's go preview. And you can see here I've got my address details up at the top here. Then I've got my line number and description with line number 10,000, line number 20,000 with the relevant descriptions in there. I mean, obviously, guys, this doesn't look anything like an invoice that you would send out to your customer. However, just wanted to get across the sort of configuration, the setup that we need to do to build out your invoice layout. So we won't build out the full thing here, guys, but feel free to have a play with it and just see what you think. And obviously reach out if you have any questions. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.